We had been waiting patiently for this podcast appearance involving Baker Mayfield, where we were finally going to hear more from him beyond that social media farewell to Cleveland. So much had happened since then. The Browns had traded for Deshaun Watson. We'd heard he wanted to be traded out of Cleveland before the Watson deal went done, and then he wanted to go to the Colts, and it didn't happen. So we finally get to hear a little bit from Baker Mayfield, or a lot as the case may be. It was an hour and a half, and there was a lot that we had to kind of suffer through to get to the meat as to why we were there. So well done, guys who did the podcast, to delay the Browns questions as long as you can. I learned a lot more about Baker Mayfield's time at Texas Tech than I wanted to, a lot more about his intramural success, or lack thereof, at Oklahoma than I wanted to, and a lot more about that dog that was flashing Baker Mayfield on the couch that Baker was sitting on. Eventually, he got to talk about the Browns. Here's some of what Baker said about his time with Cleveland, and specifically how that time is coming to an end.
I have no regrets of my time in Cleveland, of what I tried to give to that place.
Right.
And true Clevelanders and true Browns fans know that. And that's why I can walk away from the whole situation feeling like I did it.
And now, do you feel like the way the office has handled it has been disrespectful to you, given where you came in and where they are now? And
I mean, yeah, the respect thing is like it's all going to be like a personal opinion.
Yeah,
like,
and
I feel disrespected 100% because I was told one thing and they completely did another. That's what I'm in the middle of right now. And you know what? Okay, I got my taste of it because I've had 4 different head coaches in 4 years, a bunch of different coordinators. I've had talk about the highs. They always come back. They always come back.
Yeah.
That dog, I guess that is the Thanksgiving turkey pose for the dog. That dog looked like a cooked turkey. Can we get a still frame of that? That dog was so chill, and the dog stole the show. The dog was on the couch the whole time, and at one point Baker had to tell the dog to like roll over because there's a certain thing you can't see on the dog in that image, thank God, that Baker didn't want in his face as he was trying to do the podcast interview. But look, he felt disrespected by the Browns. They told me one thing, they did something else. Well, yeah, they told him he was their guy. And it went from, at the end of the regular season, the Browns are moving forward with Baker Mayfield. Then it became, well, the Browns have told Baker Mayfield they're moving forward with him unless they can get a truly elite quarterback like Deshaun Watson. That isn't what he was told at the end of the season. They decided affirmatively, after considering everything, to move on from Baker Mayfield. And they have. And now Mayfield moves on, and we'll see where he ends up. We're going to talk about that more in a second. But what was your reaction as a Browns fan to hearing what Baker Mayfield had to say about how your favorite team treated him?
Oh, I think that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. I mean, I understand why the Browns would move on from Baker Mayfield based on his on-field performance. And I also do understand why Baker Mayfield would feel disrespected by the entire process. And especially considering that the Browns moved on from Mayfield to somebody who has 22 ongoing civil lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct during massage therapy sessions. Like, I get why he would feel that way. However, like I said, when you look at the on-field performance, I think that if we're looking, again, objectively at that, if you look at Deshaun Watson and what Deshaun Watson does on the football field, and look at Baker Mayfield and the inconsistencies that have plagued him throughout his career, not just in 2021, but I mean, you can even look at some of those performances in 2020 and say, there are some things here that you might be a little bit concerned about. Yeah, Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, and this is kind of just what the cost of business is, right? When we're talking about the NFL, and it is business. You know, when you can improve any position on the football field and you have the ability to do it, NFL teams are going to go do it. And so especially now that the Browns have perhaps solved the quarterback controversies that, have plagued this team since 1999 with somebody that can play that position potentially for 10 years, you're going to do that. You're in a division with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. You're in a conference with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and the Los Angeles Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert. Wow, that name escaped me for a second. Wow. There's a lot there, that you have to contend with in the AFC. So I get Baker Mayfield feeling disrespected, but I also think that the Browns are well within their rights to try to upgrade any position.
Well, absolutely they are. And It all comes down to the reality that it's a business. It's a cold, hard, objective business. And just because they told you something once doesn't mean they're going to stick with it when they have a chance to take a step back and really ask themselves, is it in our best interest to continue this relationship with Baker Mayfield?
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.